Good morning, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton, and these are Charter Moms Chats as we keep our kids learning at home this summer. And we've had a different activity every day that we're featuring on the blog at sachartermoms.com/summer learning. And today our guest is Erin Chase, who's the creator of $5 dinners. And actually, let me I'll put that up on screen here. There we go, $5 dinners. Okay, so and she has a new cookbook for kids. Oh, my daughter's popping in. She's excited because she loves to cook and she wants to make the mac and cheese recipe tonight.
I love mac and cheese. Yeah.
So let me tell you about Erin. She's a local food blogger who lives here in San Antonio. Her mission is to help families spend less on groceries, and she has shared thousands of budget-friendly recipes on $5dinners.com. So she's got meal plans. She has ways to like freeze ahead for your meals and stuff. But the summer, in the spring when the schools closed, she and her boys started making live videos from the kitchen about recipes. And I think that's what evolved into the Whis-Kid Guidebook. So that's what we're featuring on the blog today. And that's what we want to talk to Erin about. So good morning, Erin. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on, and I'm so excited to get to share about this. Like, so excited.
Yeah. So I remember that. Okay. So Erin's kids and my kids go to the same school, just different campuses. But it was the same school closures. Like it affected our families at the same time. So right. So there was spring break, and then there was like bonus spring break. And I noticed that very, very quickly you all adapted to like, okay, well, we got to stay busy, and this is an opportunity for kids to learn life skills. And so I saw the live videos you were doing, and your boys were joining you in the kitchen. So I mean, I'm just really impressed by how quickly you guys adapted to, like, let's do something constructive with this time and keep ourselves busy to keep our spirits up. And you have to eat, right? So so tell me about what that felt like, and how you were able to adapt so well.
Well, I think that, that week of spring break, which was our spring break here in Texas and San Antonio, and, that Wednesday night when everything kind of started, the NBA closed and Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson announced that they were positive in Australia. That whole week, I just was real unsettled. Like, I have a biology degree. I know enough about viruses and pandemics to just know that this is not going to be just this week. I feel like I had a little bit of I don't know, it was just a gut feeling, I guess. And so Friday morning, it was when the schools, not our school yet, had started to announce closures. And I was at the gym on the treadmill. And normally I let my mind go and I'm just kind of running along and listening to the coaches and stuff. And I just could not, like, what am I going to do with the boys? When? Because I was presuming that we were going to get canceled too. And we did that afternoon. And I just thought, we have to do cooking lessons. It's what I know. It's what they love to do with me in the kitchen. It's what's going to help me right now. And I had no idea that it was kind of all of it together. I do live videos. I do live cooking shows already. Like, it just kind of all came together. So Friday afternoon, we were going to my friend's ranch, which had no cell service and no Wi-Fi at her cabin. And so I posted from the car before we lose cell service, like, this is what we're doing. Here's like a handwritten shopping list. Go if you can, get these things before everything goes crazy at the grocery store. And that first Monday, I mean, thousands of kids were cooking with us. And, it just went nuts over the weekend because I think everybody was desperate, myself included. And so I think we just had all the right pieces in place to be able to execute that quickly. And we had the most fun time. And I recognized this then. We ended up doing 4 weeks of lessons in March and April. And I recognized quickly that this was anchoring my day in the time of crisis. So it was like, sure, I had to show up live because I just told thousands of people that we were going to be on at noon or 4, whatever time. And so I had to be there. But it anchored the boys' days. I mean, we have a lot of time to spend still at home. It's so much time, which is why I think this series is such a gift for everybody who's been watching throughout the last couple of weeks with you. And so, I think it really just came down to, we had all the right pieces in place, and I needed something for myself, and I knew others would need it as well. And it just sort of took a life of its own.
Yeah, yeah. Like setting a goal and right. 'Cause what I found is like there's only so much like YouTube or Netflix you can watch before you just kind of feel kind of and that. But if you have a goal and you feel like you're working towards a goal, and plus too like for our team like doing these chats, it's helped us to be more connected. So it's like I actually feel I don't feel isolated. I feel that like through like having guests on and like having this common goal of like we're gonna help kids stay busy. We're gonna help families stay sane and keep learning, and if they feel like they maybe missed out on some stuff in the spring, they can kind of catch up with some of these activities, right? Having purpose, it's healthy for us as adults. It's healthy for our kids, and like it puts a pin in the day, right? So you don't get like your day night reversed or yeah. Right. And plus like I think like food is something that brings people together and it's healthy, right? These are things that are nutritious for us, and so keeps us if you eat better, you feel better too while you're kind of stuck at home. So, okay, well, I want to ask, okay, so like a big point that you make in the Whis-Kid Guidebook. Oh, which actually I have. So I bought the paper copy. So here's the one with the boy cover. I think it's so cute. So like a big message in the book is of building kids' confidence, and what you're suggesting is it's like cooking alongside them, but kind of letting them take a leadership role. So tell me more about like I think this is something I'm asking because I struggle with it a little bit because like I tend to be like, oh here, I'll just do that part's hard, I'll do it. And I need to learn to step back more and let them take control. So what's your advice on effectively like stepping back, letting kids try things, having them build that confidence?
So I want to frame this kind of in two ways. Like let's call it pre-stuck at home. So pre-stuck at home, we're busy, we're rushed, we're stressed. We just need dinner on the table fast. Like we aren't intentional enough, or we weren't intentional enough about slowing down and teaching these things to our kids. Well, now we don't have that excuse. And so and we do in a way that like, this is hard emotionally, like there's other pressures with this whole like situation, right?
Yeah.
However, we do have more flexibility in our schedule. We do have more time. We do have more flexibility in terms of like letting the kids make the mess, right? Because I think that what I hear from a lot of parents is, I don't want to let my kids learn how to cook because it's wasteful. They might mess it up and then we can't eat it. And then, they make a giant mess and it just takes longer. All those things, right? Well, really, grand scheme of life, not that big a deal, especially right now when we do have capacity and time to clean up a mess. We do have time to teach them how to clean up the mess, right?
Right.
And so actually in each one of the videos from the very beginning in March, I had these disclaimers and I'll share them with you here now. And it's parents, this is your kids' time to shine. Get out of the way, right? Let them make the mess. Obviously, if there's a safety issue, they're having sharp knives. It's all right here. It's all written out.
Yeah.
Parents, okay.
This is good stuff. Yeah.
If there's a sharp knife, if there's raw meat, a hot skillet, a hot dish coming out of the oven, and you have younger kiddos, obviously be there supervising, right? My older boys, I don't need to supervise them. They know what a hot pan is. They know how to handle a knife. Like you have to know your child and be willing to work with them, right? So there is a component. I'm going to teach them how to do all this, but there is a component of you just kind of got to be around. But you've got to stay out of the way, because when you do, and they struggle with something and then accomplish it, right? I think this is really hard for our generation as parents, is like, we just want everything to be perfect for our kid. And we want that. We don't want them to have any challenges or struggles, right? Like, right. Very different from our parents' generation. And we have to, and the kitchen is a great place for this to happen, and great lessons right here, because really, if they mess up whisking some flour into a batter, like, just try it again. Like, but watch them have that struggle. It's just that the kitchen is a safe place for this to happen, right? Is what I'm trying to say. So to watch them have that struggle and then do it right the second time, maybe the third time, that's when you see that light bulb and that confidence and that independence. And like, okay, next time I do this, I'm not going to mess up at all, because I figured it out. We're all like that in the kitchen. I'm still like that when I try something. I'm more into the more exotic style cooking methods and strategies and what, but I'm just like, yes, I did it. I got it right. Right. I remember that a couple years ago, it was like the first time I ever like poached salmon. I was like, woohoo! So, like it's the same thing, but when we can equip our kids and set them up for success. And that's what I wanted to do with these lessons and putting them together in the book. And the second disclaimer, so that's for parents. Parents, get out of the way unless there's a safety issue. Kids.
Oh yeah.
Tell your parents to get out of the way. Do it politely, and I would always ask my boys, what are you supposed to do if I get in your way? And be polite and be respectful, but this is my time to learn. This is my time to shine. So please, mom, like get out. And I think it's important to give, because I'm the same way. I'm like, I got this. This is my domain. I'm the food blogger here. I know what I'm doing. I can do this way faster than you could. That's not the point, right? And I think that having this season of kind of slow down, if you will, has allowed more space for that to happen. And so I think giving permission to your kids to make a mess and giving permission to your kids to say, nope, this is mine. I got it. Like I have not cooked breakfast or lunch since all this started at all, unless I want to make myself a salad or something. But they cook, they know how to do all these things now, and they'll cook for each other. I mean, it's really fantastic. So anyways.
That's really good. So I want to tie this back. There was a chat we had a few weeks ago with a special ed teacher, and we were talking about motivation. And she said a key aspect of motivation. So there's two sides of a coin, right? So if you're always going in and smoothing the way for them and making it easy for them, then there's no challenge. They don't get that excitement of overcoming an obstacle, and that saps their motivation. But if you do allow them to struggle and then overcome and then have that moment of standing on top of the mountain cheering, then they want to get that feeling again, and they'll keep trying things that are maybe just a little bit of a stretch, but they'll keep trying. And so that's one of the key aspects of motivation. And it applies, like the lessons you're talking about, they apply to cooking, but they apply to other areas in life as well. And and what you're saying is the kitchen is a great landscape to let kids practice on, because like, it's like, okay, if they say they make something and then they burn it, or like they make the cake and they forgot the sugar, right? And you're like, well, it's it's okay. Right? It's like, it's like, or maybe dinner's late. That's fine. Like you have to restart it, or you just eat peanut butter sandwiches that night or something. It's like the world keeps turning, and but then when they get it the second time, then they feel really proud. So yeah, I think that's a great lesson. I really like how you wrote the warnings and the rules and disclaimers in the book. I think it's something that if parents are struggling with stepping back, then this gives them something that they can work from, a way to remind themselves about what to do. And the kids can say, no, mom, I got this. So I want to ask you about, so now I chose to get the paper copies, which also the fun thing about getting it on paper is that you get the stickers, which are so cute. And you get, now we have not filled these out yet, but you get the little certificate too, which I'm pretty excited about. But so tell me about like the paper copy versus the digital copy. And then also, so even though we got the paper copy, we still have access to the videos, right? So there's the link, it's in the cookbook. You can go and then like, the kids and I can watch the videos together. So anyway, so paper versus digital.
Thanks for asking, because I want to explain the differences. They're the same file, essentially. So all the same lessons, all the same information is there, all the same recipes, all the shopping lists, everything is all the same in each file. The digital file is emailed to you, and then you would be able to like use it on your like iPad in the kitchen if you wanted to do it that way. When you buy a printed copy, I also email you a digital version as well. So you get an option for digital. With the digital file, you can actually click on the video inside the recipe, like inside, it's like a clickable PDF, I guess. And so then you can click and open in a different browser or window or tab or whatever, the video. So you can then track the video along, with your, the recipe lesson that you're doing. And so that's like the digital copy has its advantages for like, this is how we're doing digital. You can just save it on whatever device you need to save it on. And then your kiddos can do that. And when I was setting all of this up, right, I have a 15, 13, 10, and 7-year-old. So I was setting all of this up so they could navigate and do everything themselves, right? Which I think sometimes my 7-year-old's better at the iPad than I am. But I really wanted to make it.
My 10-year-old is definitely better at Zoom than I am.
And I don't even
proven that many times.
Yeah, they just know. But I set all of it up in with like, I need parents to not have to be involved in this. Like, yes, maybe you have to download the file for them, but then after that, you're out. I really want to, going back to that motivation, I want them to do their first lesson, switch from like kind of extrinsic to intrinsic. Oh my gosh, it's too early on a Friday for words to come out of my mouth.
This is where your master's in education is coming through, right?
Yes. So the intrinsic motivation, that's where we want to switch it on, like we were talking about. So to be able to empower them to kind of access all this on their own, and then say, hey, Mom, I'm going to be cooking this grilled cheese next or whatever. The printed file is something that we mail to you, obviously, and we include the completion certificate so that when you are finished with, or when they do finish the lessons, you can sign it and, have a little celebration meal or whatever they last made. And then we also have the stickers, which is just a fun addition for kids. And I mean, I love stickers too, but so we have a completion mark on each recipe. So once you finish one, you put the little red check mark onto each recipe. And if there's a particular meal that your family really loved or that you had a good time cooking, you can add the 5-star stickers to the page. And it's just a little way to extra touch points and just, I don't know, I feel like stickers just make everything better.
They do. And then, so for the, since I have my 12, almost 13-year-old, I got the boy one for him. And then for my daughter, who's 10, I got the girl one for her. So with the paper copy, you can pick which cover you get, but inside it's the same set of recipes for the boy cover or the girl cover, right?
Yep. Everything it's the same inside. The covers are different. Just, I have a bunch of boys and they're like, okay, I don't know that I want a girl and whatever. They're funny, but we will be switching to a boy and girl together cover just to simplify things. But but for now, we still have those available.
Yeah, they're really cute though. Okay. So one of the things that's in the guidebook is shopping lists, and I think this is interesting. So like in our house, we just have like a little yellow pad sits on the corner of the kitchen counter. And if you use the last one of something, or you open the last, peanut butter jar, you're supposed to put peanut butter on it. We're still working on like closing that cycle, but sort of that's sort of our system. But this is more about like, so what to shop ahead for, right? Of like, if you're going to do these lessons upcoming, then to get the ingredients ahead of time. So okay, guys, tell me more about like how kids can start to learn about meal planning. And actually this ties into we had a lesson or we had an activity a couple weeks ago about financial responsibility, right? As something you can also be teaching your kids too. So I think meal planning and financial responsibility kind of tie in with each other. But so tell me more about like in the guidebook, the shopping list, and like how it helps kids think about planning.
Sure. So one of the sort of, I guess, unintentional aspects of the guidebook and the lessons and everything, how it's all put together is kind of comes down to like executive functioning. And just as you're kind of, that's kind of the higher level of what you're asking. And I think that, the shopping lists we originally designed for, we're going to do these lessons all next week. Go buy these things so you can join us. And a lot of people did that with us back in the spring. And what we decided then is we actually reorganized the recipes a little bit, but use that same idea to what we recommend is use the shopping list and make all of these 5 recipes this next week. So just like pick a time in your day, because most likely you're not doing anything else right now. You can say, okay, every day at 4:00, or if you're doing the lunch week, every day at 11, we're going to start in the kitchen and work on these things. And I think that goes back to my like anchoring of my day. Like everybody knows what to expect. So first would be pick a set of recipes. Second would be pick a time. So let's do lunch week is going to be at 11, or maybe you're going to do the breakfast week, but as lunch, because all of them could be eaten for lunch. So does that make sense? So pick a time and make all those things. So that way you can get everything from the shopping list in there. If you're going to mix and match where you're like, okay, we're going to kind of pick and choose, then you could use those shopping lists to create your own shopping list, which is the sort of meal planning and shopping list writing. So the easiest and fastest way to save money on your grocery bill it's my other spiel, is to meal plan. 100%, the fastest and easiest way to do that. And so, yeah, we have everything you need to know there at $5dinners.com. And so you would want to help them understand that, okay, if we're going to work on these lessons, we're also going to need a few other meals throughout this week. So we're going to start with this shopping list and we're going to add to it. And then we're going to write everything out that we need to get at the store, right? So then you're not overbuying, you're not underbuying, you don't have to go back again. Nobody wants to have to go back to the grocery store right now for anything. So I think if anything, what we've gotten really good at in the last couple months is really planning. Like, okay, I'm only going to the store. I personally try to go every 10 days. Sometimes I've been able to go every two weeks, I think twice in the last couple months, but really 10 days is kind of pushing it for us, the way that these kids eat. So but that has been, or this has been really helpful, kind of supplementing all of that and really getting specific. So when you get into the executive functioning thing, you have to slow down and break it down. Like you said about your system, and practice. And they're not good at the first time and they're not good at the second time, but that's why you just do it over and over and over. And then eventually it will click, and that later on they don't run out of an ingredient, or you don't realize you're missing it, or you knew you had enough stocked up in your pantry because you always buy 6 tomato sauces when you buy tomato sauce, or whatever it is. So that, I think that having the time and then having it spelled out in the book to slow down, write what we're going to have, build off of the shopping list, go order on curbside or whatever, however you're getting your groceries, go to the store. So I think that's really valuable in terms of like ordering things and then understanding how this is going to help you save money when you have it all kind of spelled out like that. And I think those again are the sort of unintentional lessons that have come out of doing all these cooking classes.
Right. It goes down to like, I think some key points you made is basically like all of our schedules just got blown up. Right. So we're adding structure back in. And so like to really learn something, it takes repetition. So picking a time, like say this week, right, 11 o'clock each day this week. And then like ahead of time, planning for the lessons. But a key thing you said is like now, like we don't have any excuses. It's time to slow down and teach our kids these things, even if it takes us a little bit longer, right? We're not rushing to get something done, right? So take this time to sit with them and explain, well, this is why we have this system, right? It's so we don't run out of an ingredient when we're trying to make this recipe. And because we're only going, so we go, I do, let's see, actually, so Friday is my day to go on Walmart grocery pickup. And then I put everything in, I go through the favorites. Actually, last time I let my daughter, like we installed the app on her iPad. And so I said, you do the first pass, you look at the favorites, and you know what we buy. And she filled about a third of the shopping cart just based on her knowledge. And so that I went in and filled in the other things we needed. But like she felt really excited to get to do that. And then Saturday morning I go to the Walmart at Austin Highway and just pop the back of the minivan and they load stuff in, and it feels very safe. Like we're trying to be very cautious. And that way it's like, we do it once a week and then we're set. Now my husband gets, he's kind of choosy about the main dishes. So, but he'll get delivery from Whole Foods. So that's where we get a lot of our meats. And then we have a produce bag that comes on Wednesdays. So that's kind of our system. But as far as the executive function stuff, the like Walmart and planning ahead those ingredients, right? So like if my daughter wants to make the ice cream recipe, then she needs to check how much heavy cream we have, because that's not something I normally would keep on hand. And it's good to have a spare. So
yeah, you can never make too much homemade ice cream.
Yeah. That one's really popular, especially when she makes the chocolate kind.
Oh, yum.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted to ask, I think, yeah, so when I accessed the videos, I noticed that there were like, there's the breakfast recipes, the lunch recipes, dinner recipes, but there's also bonus videos about safety. And I want you to tell us more about those, like how parents should use them. And this kind of ties back to what you said earlier about, depending on their ages, like, if there's things like knives or things that are hot, like, how do you supervise, but, let them get the skills?
Yeah, so these are the videos of things I wish I knew before I had to learn how to cook. My mom was not a cook. If she's watching, hey mom. she just was not a cook. And so I basically had to learn on my own when I, went off. And so I knew how to handle a knife. I mean, I knew some of these things as a child, but I don't remember any like formalized food safety, kitchen safety in the kitchen. And so I thought, as I was recording these lessons, I kind of kept a running tab of, I need to explain this further, but I didn't do that in the live video of that particular lesson, if that makes sense. Like in the video lesson where the very first one, it was actually the very first lesson where Charlie's making taco soup. I never like really instructed him on the ways to hold a knife and how to, I mean, I did in the moment, but I wanted to expand on that, if you will. And so other points, of course, I was mentioning, parents be safe. It's a hot skillet. I would mention that as we go in the lessons, but I wanted to just sort of bring it all together, if you will. And so we have a food safety, kitchen safety, what do you do if there's a fire? Things like that, raw meat, and just all the different things that even young children, even Austin, who is 7, needs to know and needs to be mindful of. So that we have 2 safety videos, and then we have a knife skills video where Charlie and I are working in the kitchen, like real slowly, what are the different types of knives, which type of knives to use for this, the difference between the plastic knife and the real knife, and why you would want to use one over the other, and the protective gloves, like really get into all the nitty gritty of these important skills and knowledge that we didn't necessarily get as deep in the actual like guided lessons that we have, that we shot live and then have organized for you for when you do get the book.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to showing those, especially. So my son loves eating sliced apples, and I want him to use the big chef's knife to cut the apple, but he feels better using a paring knife, and I'm trying to show him why, like, maybe it's better to use the big knife looks scary, but I think it's actually safer if you're cutting an apple to like just use the big knife. So
yes, yeah, and he can watch this later. You can have him fast forward to this little clip. So he needs to know that the chef's knife is going to be heavier, so it's going to naturally give weight and gravity into cutting the apple. It's also safer because in the knife, there's like a notch and there's more clearance underneath of the handle to hold it. So a paring knife, if he gets to the bottom, his knuckles are going to like knock the cutting board, and he won't be able to like cleanly slice all the way through, to the bottom. And so, and then actually I will also teach him how to pinch it so that if he's peeling it, is he peeling it with a paring knife? Is that what he's doing? Is he like peeling the skin off?
He kind of makes little thin slices off it until it's just the core.
So you do that with the chef's knife by pinching onto the blade almost. It is the blade, the top of the blade, not the sharp part. and that'll give you a little bit more fine motor control to then either thin slicely peel the skin off. So you still can I say that the paring knife is better for like mushrooms and strawberries, like smaller, softer foods. But a paring knife does require a significant more amount of fine motor than the chef's knife. You can kind of get those fine cuts with a chef's knife. You just have to hold it a little differently.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll look forward to that because he loves apples, and if he cuts the apples instead of me, then that saves me time, and it's a healthy snack too. He likes putting peanut butter on it too. That's
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a really good snack. So okay. Well, wow. This is okay. We've covered all the questions I wanted to touch on, and I want to do the call to action, which is so here's the URL. So this is Erin's site, $5 dinners. And there's all kinds of information about meal planning. But if you scroll down just a little bit, there's a graphic for the Whis-Kid Guidebook. So be sure and click on that, and you can order the digital copy or the paper copy. And we have a coupon code for the so go order the cookbook. You can choose which copy you want, and then you can make a plan to start practicing these lessons with your kids. So I guess like step 1 is get out the shopping list and plan like your curbside or your grocery delivery for this weekend, so that you'll have all the ingredients to do start the recipes next week. So, Erin, do you have any like sort of closing thoughts or sort of pep talk about and things aren't as scary now maybe as they were back in March when we were like adjusting, but it's still there's just a lot of uncertainty about back to school and when kids will be able to do activities together and stuff. So, Erin, do you have any advice for families on how to try to stay positive and stick together?
I think the recipes and the lessons and this whole, like, it's essentially a curriculum pulled together here is really going to be such a gift that you can give to yourself and your family and your kids. Just like we talked about earlier, that light bulb of, watching it just click. And then they start to teach each other. Like it's really great. And so I think that, there is so much uncertainty. And there still is, like, we still haven't heard anything about Great Hearts yet, which it could change again.
It's supposed to come out today.
Yeah,
right.
But it's our day, but it
right.
could change again. And, we have no, as I feel like this whole situation, the emotion that I keep coming back to is this is all very maddening. It's just maddening. And I think a lot of it, apart from all the things, just this is maddening. No matter whatever side you're on of everything, all of it's maddening. And I think part of that is the uncertainty. And so if you can find something, hopefully this, that is going to help bring just little touches of, I did something productive today. I watched my kid learn how to do this today. I didn't start another episode of whatever on Netflix, and I helped my kid do this. Seriously, friends, seriously. Okay. Because that's easy and it's the default and it doesn't require any thought. And I'm sorry, but sometimes watching my boys in the kitchen is very entertaining. Right. And so,
or even just listening to how they talk to each other.
Yes,
right.
Totally. Like, it's just like, we just have a lot of fun there. And so if we can pull ourselves out of the maddening, of the uncertainty, of the mess in this, and just give ourselves this little gift. And I say that because, yes, we're in summer right now. I just know there's going to be significant breaks in the school year. I don't know when and how they're going to be. I just feel it. I do not envy school leaders.
Just factor that in and just plan for it, right? Just the thing we can count on is more disruption,
right?
Because it's maddening,
right? So when there is a disruption, okay, all right, we're going to have to take a week off because our campus has to get closed to be cleaned or whatever, and we don't know who that's going to be. It could be that school and that school, but no one else, right? And so being prepared, that's what I'm working on personally this summer. Is like, okay, yes, it's summer, everything's just kind of relaxed. We're all just like, but I want to be prepared for when this happens again. And so when this happens again, right back to and I'm having my boys go through the lessons they haven't done. Like, they did live lessons with me in the spring, but it was like 1 or 2 a week. So the ones they didn't learn were going through. Now, does that make sense? So wherever we leave off at the end of the summer, we'll just pick back up whenever we get a little break or a long weekend or something like that. And so I just think that providing ourselves and our families with something, it helps me. I'm not cooking dinner anymore. It anchors, or I'm not cooking breakfast and lunch anymore. Like, it helps in so many more ways than you realize it's going to help. And especially as we continue into this just unknown, right?
Yeah.
And I think it could be a real gift for you and your kiddos.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm really grateful that you organize all this, because it makes, that's a big part of our kind of our summer learning. What we're trying to offer is like, don't feel overwhelmed by everything that's out there. We're going to help introduce you each day to a different thing that is welcoming. It's easy. It's designed for kids. It works for lots of different ages. That's why like the Whis-Kid Guidebook is such a good fit for what you're trying to present. And I'm really proud to, there's a link to the blog post on, in the description of the video. So I encourage people to click through and read the description. So our team member, Laura Idle, who also works with you, she wrote the description about it. And then the link is in there to order your copy. So here's the girl version, right? But and Thank you so much, Erin. And we're gonna go add some stuff to the shopping list.
Yay, good. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me and for including this. This is such a gift to get to share with everybody here in the San Antonio Charter Moms audience and group. And, you know, we're here for you. We want to help you out this summer with the Whis-Kid cooking lessons.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too.
Okay, bye.